Within a week of November 1917, a man called Subramanya Bharati stood on a beach in a city that was then called Madras, and he declaimed. It was a declaiming kind of poem, which said, Mahakali Parashakti cast her sideward glance on Russia, and there arose wondrously an epochal revolution. The tyrant death screamed and fell. Immortal gods thumped their well-set shoulders. Saddened, dark spirits cried and perished their eyes, hazy and unseeing. People of the world, come, see this new thing on earth. We do not know whether the extent and depth of the rage we see in the world today can ever alter the course of our future, and instead of being genocidal or suicidal as it so often is, it can become transformatory and creative, like the trance of Kali or the trance of Shiva. That is as yet unknown. And the transformative capacity of discontent remains, well, this new discontent remains mostly untested and therefore potential.
And like we ended the evocation from Qazi Nazrul Islam saying that the rebellion had become an earthquake everywhere. So the ground beneath our feet is fluid. The earth is a labyrinth of connected and resonant fault lines. Nothing stands still, nothing ever has. Over 100 earthquakes are recorded each week across the world. Many remain undetected because their magnitudes are very small, or because there are vast stretches of land and sea where there are no sensors. These earthquakes and microtremors, including those unregistered on the Richter scale, are the signs of geological life, of mobile magma, evidence of an animate planet. The world of humans, too, is active, with cascading microtremors, daily seismic shifts, and the occasional upheaval. Occurrences, varied in tone and intensity, manifest themselves in an increasing frequency of deoccupying workplaces. We like to think of these not as Occupy Wall Street, but as emptying Wall Street of its occupation by finance capital. Deoccupying workplaces of managements, work riots, work stoppages, go-slows, tool-down, wildcat acts of self-activity of wage workers, and continuous insubordination, sometimes angry, sometimes joyous, occasionally both. In educational institutions, natural habitats, housing estates, prisons, battlefields, and cities. Power's vision is only weakened by its ectropic excesses. The rising, falling, sliding, colliding, and overlapping waves of the messianic, the hedonistic, the mystic, the altruistic, the communistic, and the heretical forces of our times, with their countercurrents, constitute a seismic terrain, a discontinuous, broken, abrupt transcript of the daily life of our world.
A smile arrives and lasts but a moment. It appears and vanishes. But to rest a while in its curve, to enjoy holding the thought it brings in its wake, this is what it means to have life call out to life, and to extend life's boundaries towards the open world. To last, to stay the course, not to end, but to continue. Dying is easy, my friend, living is harder. I'm quoting, since we're talking about music, Alexander Hamilton. To be intimate with the infinite, to lay claim to eternity easily.
When a man with a plastic bag stood in front of a tank in Tiananmen Square almost 2 decades ago, in 1989, he was insisting that a tank change its route. Maybe it did not at the time.
But history never bids farewell. It just says, see you later.
And with that invocation for a more generous understanding of time than is usually allowed for when we discuss the specters of communism and its 20th century variants, which inevitably end in some form of melancholic despair, I would invite you to witness the continuation of the last strand of performances for today. I say this, and we say this quite deliberately. The Chinese anarchist thinker of the 5th century, Bao Jingyang, said the blue heavens have no place for master or for slave. Abu Zar al-Ghirfani, the 8th century 5th person to convert to Islam, insisted on a commons of property. The Ajivikas, a pre-Buddhist sect in India, had always said that the commons of the earth cannot be divided. There are traditions and histories of communism that have persisted for a much longer period of time, just as the futures of communism will be much longer than what we imagine them to be. With that spirit in mind, we invoke imagined and possible histories. We invoke Yao Qingmei to present us Sanzu Ding and its patterns, Hypotheses on the origins of the hammer and sickle sign. Yao Qingmei is an artist based in Paris at the moment, but from Hangzhou in China, and she has a particular performative practice that relies on an imaginative, expansive reading of history and histories. I also invite Adrienne Rifkin, who is known to many of us as a person who really inhabits and embodies that strange and abused word called multidisciplinarity. We first began having a conversation with Adrienne Rifkin when we discovered a common passion for the Parisian worker poets of the 19th century. And in reading Street Noises, Parisian Pleasures from 1900 to 1945, we found a particular sonic pleasure in the task of reclaiming cities for the common good. Adrienne will talk about inventing regret, living with October, loving contradiction. And while Yao Qingmei and Adrienne Rifkin syncopate each other, Sajan Mani continues his work at the stairwell. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very honored to present my research on the Sanzu Ding and its motif here. And during this conference, I will present you some hypotheses on the origin of the hammer-sickle sign. So my work is based on the most important archaeological excavation in 2013 and 2015. Here are some main points. Wait. So a Sanzu Ding, Sanzu Ding, it means a painted three-legged pottery. It was excavated in Yangshao region, not far from the Yellow River, dating back to 3000 BC from the Neolithic age. And very surprisingly, we discovered a sign which resembled today's hammer-sickle sign. Coincidentally, in 2015, we discovered a strange red terracotta cauldron on Banpo site. That's what we see in on the table. And we found the left-facing and the right-facing hammer-sickle sign on this pot. So now let's look documentary. I hope that you read the. San means three. Zu signifies foot. Ding translates as quadrant. Sanzu Ding is therefore a three-legged quadrant. A ding is generally characterized by its 3 feet and 2 ears, and its form is come from the legendary Chinese mythology. The Sanzu Ding was produced using clay during the Neolithic age, and they are often discovered amongst the animal bones, indicating they were originally used for cooking meat. There is an ancient Chinese proverb, to eat is the sky. And the meaning is, of food, the very idea of eat is paramount as the sky for Chinese people. So during the I translate a little.
Le peuple ordinaire ne peut pas renverser le ciel. Pour cela, les empereurs chinois de toutes les dynasties étaient appelés le fils du ciel. À partir de la dynastie Shang, entre 1600 et 1046 avant Jésus-Christ, ces ustensiles sont réalisés en bronze et prennent donc une plus grande importance, illustrant les chefs de propriétaires ou servant au rituel. Ils sont reconnus présents en tant qu'objet de splendeur et de modestie. Un symbole de la souveraineté du pouvoir d'État, une vaisselle rituelle et
No, don't worry about it. So now we see how it was excavated. Can you see the subtitles? Okay. Oh yeah, okay. So maybe the people who are in the back of the room, you cannot see the subtitles. So I will explain what has been said in the video. So this in this quadrant. So this is a strange terracotta pot where we found the right-facing and left-facing hammer-sickle symbol. And what is really interesting is here we can find a frogman motif, and I think it's a goddess of fertility. Why? Because we can see, and she has a very big belly, and under the belly there is a symbol of the vulva. And so, but it's still a puzzle, because we have a lot of questions about the hammer-sickle symbol now. So what's the significance of these symbols? Did the hammer-sickle symbol really represent power thousands of years ago? Could it be the origin of the written language? Is it a form of ancient shamanism? Because we know in the Neolithic age, and the Longmen Sanzu Ding is a ritual vessel. As a ritual vessel, the hammer-sickle sign around the Longmen Sanzu Ding is probably to used for the shamanic purpose. So, is it related to the myth in Chinese ancient book, Classic of Mountains and Seas? So, is it the commonly found diagram of the cosmos? So with all of these questions, Now let's look at this diagram. This is Sanzu Ding in bronze. Now let's look at these diagrams. Here are some existing hypotheses on the origin of the hammer-sickle sign, and you can diffuse if you. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So. During the first part of my conference, I will, based on the semiological research, to explain the first hypothesis. If you don't understand my English, you can ask a question. So, okay. So from the semiological angle, I would like to develop the first hypothesis. The hammer-sickle sign symbol originally derived from the character Wu shamanism. This is a character which means shamanism. So it first appeared on a Mathäser-Bräu Yao port in Neolithic age. And the practice of the shamanism has been proven existed in China since 8,000 years. And this caricature, ancient language specialists believe that the transformations that happened between the hammer-sickle sign and the shamanism. So we know. As we said before, we know already that Longmen Sanzu Ding is a ritual vessel, and as a ritual vessel, the hammer-sickle sign around the Longmen Sanzu Ding is very likely to be used for shamanic purpose. If it's true, then at the present, the general depiction about the shamanism and the analyze about the this character, this sign, can help us to understand the real meaning of the hammer-sickle symbol. So, what's the meaning of this sign? This sign pronounced as Wu, it means shaman and shamanism. So, we know that the Chinese, now we have seen that there is an evolution of the character for this for shamanism. And if we considered this character as an associative compound, it means associative compound, it means if we put 2 or 3 pictographs together, we create a new character. So what's the meaning of this character? This character is pronounced as gong, so it means a tool. So the tool, it's a versatile tool, and two versatile tools overlap each other. As we said, for example, as we say the hammer-sickle symbol. 2 versatile tools overlapping each other, it means the wisdom. So the shaman is a wise mediator of the god, and the shaman is the only person who can communicate with the god. Now, the second meaning of this character is it's used as a Jew, so it looks also like a measuring device. It's a measuring device, and it's a set square that we use for drawing a square. So, Zhu, it means rules, and so the shaman is a dominator of 2 rules, and the function of the shaman is the shaman uses 2 tools, and he dances with the 2 tools in his hand for summoning the god and the deities. Now we know the picture we saw here is a 女娲. Nuwa is goddess of creation from Chinese mythology, clutching a compass from she clutching a compass, and he forms a couple with her brother Fuxi, and who is holding a tri-square. So the shaman is the morality, the power of the morality, and his intelligence surpass the kings at the ancient times. Okay, now we and this character kept unchanged since 2,000 years until the seal script. I hope that you can understand my English. I'm so sorry. So the seal script is a script that is propagated by by Chinese first emperor. So the Qingshi Huangdi. So this is a portrait of Qingshi Huangdi. So the first emperor Qing in 201 BC united the 6 kingdoms. He was the Chinese first monarch to be titled emperor. He was also the first in China to centralize power, creating an authoritative rule of law and policy. So what did the caricature shaman imply? And this the character Wu, you can see it here. This is a seal script, and it's totally the same. And this is a contemporary caricature for shamanism, and it doesn't change. So what's the real meaning of this character? And here, the shaman is a character composed of a gong, a tool with 1 man, 2 men. So during the Qingshi Huang's period, he introduced the idea of many people in the shamanism. So it means a lot of people come together and they dance for summoning the god now. This character means tool. So what is really interesting in there is a very, very interesting phenomenon. In our modern vocabulary, the gong combined with man is gongren. It means a man holding a tool. It's a workman. So it means workman in our time. And a man come together with another man. It means follow. But they are not equal person. This means follow. So 2 equal persons come together. It becomes a smaller person follow the big person. So now we get an amazing phrase. It's worker follow the shamanism. Is it a prediction? We don't know. Now let's look at this very famous construction in Soviet era. The worker and kolkhoz woman. It is a structure by sculpture by Verna Kukina. And at the right, we saw the goddess in Chinese mythology, and the worker at the left. On the left we saw the worker hold a hammer, and the kolkhoz woman hold a sickle, and on the right we can saw the Fuxi hold a square, and Nuwa, her sister, hold a compass. So the compass can make the curve of the sickle, I think. It's a very serious research. And I will prove you why it's really, because there is an idea of the, how to say, the idea of the philosophy of unification of binary opposition. So the woman with a curve of circle and the man with a square, it is already exists in ancient time. So now we should look. Now we have already know the idea of many people was introduced to the shamanism during the Qin Shi Huang's time. So to understand more adequately what's the relationship between the people inside this character shamanism, we should look another character. How about 3 people come together? What's your idea? 3 people come together, it means the masses, the public. But we know this character is the contemporary character, and this character was standardized after the New China, because we have a reform for simplification of our caricatures after the New China. So we simplify this character like this. So 3 persons together, and this 3 persons was not forms a pyramid structure. When we're speaking of the pyramid structure, we know that is a social class structure. Pyramid social. So this person, it's a person. This person above the 2 people is not simply people. He is emperor, the ruling class, the privileged class. And these 2 people at the bottom of the pyramid, they were the real masses, and they were dominated by this person. So the caricature of the masses is not the real masses, and it's an illustration of the centralization of authority. Now, speaking of this pyramid structure, I must mention another character 3,000 years ago. This is a structure. So now we have seen this means the people in its Greek form in bone script. Bone script is appears during Shang Dynasty. It's about 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, and we can see the 3 people. They stand on the same ground, and they were evenly structured. And the only thing that is possible to be above the 3 persons, what's this? Yes, it's like sky, but it means the sun. So it's the sun. The sun is the only thing that we can understand it easily, because maybe at that time we still have the sun worship. But now look at this. It's chronologically so. Now look at this. Later, we don't know why the sun disappeared. And one person here, he inflated, and he takes the place of the sun. And he becomes the people who is dominated the other people. So he becomes the ruling class, the emperor, and the privileged class. And following the spirit of how to say that? For the spirit of the equality and the liberty, I suggest to amend this character masses in this way. So they look like three-person brothers and sisters hold their hand together and very happy and solidarity, all these values. Now let's look another character. I hope it's not too difficult for you. Where is the computer? Okay. Now let's look another character, shamanism. In bronze script. What's the bronze script? Bronze script is the script that we found inside the bronze, the pottery in bronze. So this character, what's the meaning? This is a shamanism, and this is a mouse. The mouse is a circle. So the mouse is dominated by the shamanism. And the mouse is and you can speak the magic word, and we have proven that the everything happens. So we have proven that the hammer-sickle symbol has the same origin with this one, no, the seal script and of shamanism. So in this way we can replace the hammer-sickle symbol with, we can replace the hammer-sickle symbol here. We can replace the shamanism here by a hammer-sickle symbol. So now it's really, really amazing, because this character means the tongue. It's normal, because when we see this part, is like this part of it's the tongue out of the mouth, like that. So it's difficult to interpret this, because it means the mouth is dominated by the hammer-sickle symbol since a long time. And if the mouth doesn't be dominated by the hammer-sickle symbol, maybe you can commit a crime for that. So what implied in this character is speech freedom oppressed. Okay. Okay, now I will introduce you very, very. What's the meaning? What's the meaning of this character? This is a perfect dictatorship structure. Now we can see this is a mouse, which is dominated by the shamanism, in which there are two-person forms the masses with the person above the person. And is it the how to say that, the dictatorship of the proletariat, maybe. But we can understand it like a house, a structure. So this one is a protective person, but it functions. This part it functions like a roof, protective roof, and this part, the shamanism, is a function like the pillar for a house, and the mouth is a foundation of all of this, but it's so. Okay, it's very sad. Now I will talk you quickly about the second hypothesis of the hammer-sickle sign. If we assume that the hammer-sickle symbol is a Chinese ancient character, so it means now we know what's the associative compounds. Associative compound character is two pictograph if you put two pictographs together, create a new character. So this is the hammer, but in the Neolithic age, the form indicates the axe, and this is the sickle. And the stone axe and the stone sickle has already been proven exist since a long time ago. So maybe after you can come here to look the objects. Now let's put aside. But what's this? What's the meaning? What's the meaning? The combination of the stone of a hammer and the axe and the sickle. Now let's look another character. This one. This one is an ancient Chinese actor. It's true. Ancient Chinese actor. It's what is really surprising is the pronunciation of this character is Wu. So it's the homophone of the pronunciation is Wu. Wu, it means weaponry equipment. So the pronunciation of this, so this is a homophone of the shamanism. Now, the axe and a pole arm, so it's a weapon. Together, it forms a powerful weapon, and it has been proven that the pole arm evolved from the sickle. So, the combination of the axe and the sickle, it means a very mighty weapon, is a very powerful weapon. Now, so Karl Marx views the notion of the state as a kind of violent machine. Hence, weaponry equipment connotes a national ruling machine of violence. However, this character serves to the shamanism serves to control the ideology of a nation, and the and it serves to as an instrument of oppression. So these two hypotheses, in different ways, illustrate the hammer-sickle symbol's dual function as an instrument for governing the ancient China. Now what's the meaning of we have now the meaning of the tool and the hammer. Now let's look the symbolic meaning of the axe. What's the symbolic meaning of the axe? The axe is a symbol of authority, and the first person. The earliest depiction of a man holding an axe appeared in ancient Chinese mythology. Now, so here is Pangu, the person in the Pangu. Pangu has used a giant axe to separate the heaven from the earth. And when the leader of the ancient tribes are partaking in important events such as discussions, ritual and meetings, they would carry an axe to show power. Later on, when the axe had become the standard weapon for executions. Okay. And the axe, the character axe, was used as the same manner as a father. So this is a character in father in oracle bone script, and this is bronze script and seal script. So this character means father, and it is used as same manner as an axe. So what's the meaning of this character, which looks like the hammer-sickle symbol? Huh? Yeah. Okay, I will finish. Right. Okay, I'll do it very quickly. So this part is an axe, and the small part Here, it's an indicative symbol. It means holding an axe. Holding an axe. So the father is a person who hold an axe for working and for building. That's the meaning of the father in ancient time, in Chinese ancient time. Okay, now let's the French specialist. Now let's see what she will say about this. The hammer-sickle symbol signifies father. This explains prices right up to present. Chinese society exists under a patriarchal system. It also explains why Stalin, once known as the father of the people, was obsessed with the power of the hammer-sickle symbol. Father of the people of the Soviet Union. Okay, but I think if now look here. This is a character father. If the hammer-sickle symbol looks like the father, I think it looks more like a father fell off. So this is this embodied statue of Stalin's head on the street, and we can see that the people use a very big giant axe like Pangu in our mythology to kill the statue, and this is also in Chinese mythology, and this is the first person to the resistance, whose name is Xing Tian. Xing Tian, okay, is a Chinese deity who fight against a supreme divinity. So, and he always keep fighting even after the defeat. And this painted Raqs that bears a tale of the people's rebellion. Okay, I can finish here. For the first part, and then I will continue to talk about it after this session. I will continue to talk about it, the sickle as a Kronos castration tool in Greek mythology.